Oh, there's Evie. I didn't see. Hey, everybody. How are you? I'm Al Roker, and we are coming here in the Disruption Innovation Room at Jet Day. It's very exciting. It's the Disruptor Series. And some folks who have done some disrupting in the food chain, if you will, making school lunches good. And it's, you know, for time immemorial, how many people loved their school lunch? Wow. One hand went up there in the balcony. That's it. So there's a great foundation that's based in Boulder, Colorado. I've just found it. It's the Chef Ann Foundation. Chef Ann Cooper is a terrific chef who has dedicated her life to making school lunches better. And her CEO is a great lady, Mara Fleishmann. She's if you will, I like to think of her as a renegade, if you will. She's a national nonprofit founded by the acclaimed renegade lunch lady, Ann Cooper, helping schools create healthier food, transitioning them from those god-awful, you know, heat and serve tray things that were just horrible, to cooking from scratch with fresh ingredients. And in the transition, lo and behold, because people always say, oh, it's not cost effective, we can't do it, it ends up being cheaper to do good and for kids to eat good. Tell us how this got started now.
Yeah, well, it's really exciting to be here. And, you know, for me, the way it got started was I was going, my daughter was going into kindergarten, and I went and had school lunch with her. And she was my first, she's now 15. But I didn't know what to expect. And I went and I sat down for lunch, and they served her these French toast sticks that looked like they came out of a package with a packet of maple syrup that actually had no maple syrup in it, and a side of pears and a syrupy sauce. And at the time, my daughter's kindergarten class had 29 kids in it with one teacher. And I looked around and I thought, how is this teacher going to teach these kids how to read? Go back and teach them how to read, which is what you do in kindergarten after this lunch. And that's what started my path. Then I started kind of working in my hometown trying to change school food. I also worked for Whole Foods Market, and I tried to get them behind school food. And so we started with them behind school food. And then I met the renegade lunch lady. I met Ann Cooper, and my eyes opened, and I realized that schools didn't need to serve processed food.
So the food that most of the schools are serving, what's the big problem with them?
Yeah. So we have about 96,000 schools in our country, and the majority of them are still serving highly processed heat and serve food. And the issue is that this is the kind of food that has really helped lead to our health crisis that we're facing right now. So we are, you know, 1 out of every 3 children is looking at diabetes in their lifetime.
Wow.
And we are not teaching them what real food tastes like. Their palates are not even ready to accept the taste of real food. Their food is high in salt and saturated fats, and it's processed, and sugar. And you know this better than anyone. I know that you went through your own, you know, health awakening.
Sure. So your foundation, what is your foundation doing to address this? How are they trying to help?
So what we do is we really focus in, and we work with school food operators to try and help them create healthier school food. We provide them with resources, tools, and funding to help bring in salad bars to schools, fruit and veggie grants. We help them through a school food support initiative to move from heat and serve to actually start cooking from scratch operations. And we also try and bring awareness to the general population about the fact that schools can actually serve real school food.
And let's walk over to the renegade lunch lady, Ann Cooper. Ann, how are you?
Oh, good. How are you?
Good. My knees are. I'm about to have a knee replacement. Come on over, Mara. So here's the deal. Thank you. So this is a typical school lunch. Tell us what we got here.
Well, I won't call it food, but there's stuff on this plate. chicken nuggets,
Right.
tater tots.
And what part of the chicken does the nugget come from?
Well, that's a really good question, Al, because there's no part of the chicken. Most chicken nuggets are ground up different little bits and pieces. If they had to use real chicken, they probably wouldn't make it into chicken nuggets.
No.
It's ground up stuff, and there's a lot of additives. If you ever look at a box of chicken nuggets and look at the labels, there's a million ingredients in it. You don't want to put that
No,
in
you
your mouth,
don't
no.
know. Tater tots?
Well, tater tots aren't necessarily real potatoes, but there's potato stuff in there, you know.
Potato-like substances.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. Ugh.
Mm.
Yeah, and then, like, to go with it, we have canned green beans. Raise your hand if you really love canned green beans. Okay, we don't even have one.
All right.
And then we have canned fruit cocktail that's in some liquidy stuff.
A syrup kind of
It's
thing.
some stuff. And
Yes.
we do have, oh, look at how red.
Ooh, that's a beautiful
Ooh,
maraschino
it's cherry,
cherry.
yeah. So-
And then the chocolate milk.
Oh, then chocolate milk. And this alone has like 22 grams of sugar in like that little amount. It's just
Wow.
crazy.
So let's look at this. Now, is this a lunch that you would recommend and is served in some of the schools you work with?
Yeah, so I'm the food service director in Boulder Valley School District, and this is actually a meal we would serve. Roast chicken, quinoa salad, and salad off of a salad bar. I mean, that's exactly what we would serve, and of course, white milk, we serve only organic. But yeah, this is real food. This is what we should be serving our kids in every school.
Mara, so cost-wise, because every school administrator is going to say, I can't possibly afford that.
Yep,
Can they?
they can. And Ann's proof, and a lot of the schools we work with are proof, because when you cook from scratch and procure ingredients, you have more food to cover your food. You have more money to cover your food costs, and you're able to actually do this for the reimbursable rate.
So how do you get schools on board? What do you do?
I really go in. When I go in and work with schools, I go in and talk to them. I show them the food. I do tastings with kids. And we start talking about how they can cook. Because, Al, if we're going to make this change, we have to cook again. That is not cooking. That's box cutters and can crushers. This is ovens and steamers and saute pans. So we have to cook. So we start talking to the superintendents and the school board about cooking. But really what changes their minds is that hungry kids can't learn, malnourished kids can't think. If we want our kids to do well academically, and if we want to shrink the achievement gap, we need to feed kids this and not that.
And a lot of kids, 1 in 4 kids go to bed hungry in this country.
That's true.
And the 1 or 2 good meals they get is that meal at school.
Right, and if that meal is this, there's, the nutrient value is so diminished. They are not going to be able to learn and succeed and be the best they can be if we give them that in school.
Mara, how do people get involved? How do they activate their school board and their school management to say, you know what, enough of this, let's get this?
Yeah. So it really, a lot of times starts with the parent community. And if you go to chefannfoundation.org, there's a whole list under the parent website of ways you can help. But right now, we are about to celebrate National School Lunch Week, and every year we launch our awareness campaign for real school food. And this really helps bring awareness. So we have sponsors. Al's got it up. He's so great. He's one of our early adopters. We have sponsors like Made in Nature who will donate $1 every time you take a picture with a hashtag Real School Food sign and share it digitally and tag the Chef Ann Foundation. And that dollar goes to help bring our programming to schools across the country. We work with 7,000 schools, nearly 2.7 million kids, but there's 96,000 schools out there. We have a lot of work to do. So if you can take your picture and share it, the more there is for kids out there.
That's right, and it just dawns on me that there are some spectacular creative minds in this room that maybe want to get involved in this and help spread the word.
Yeah, maybe we could take that on as our charity.
Yeah, I like that. Well, so
Chef Ann, you moving to New York?
I come all the time.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right,
We should
Chef
have
Ann
lunch here.
and
Yeah,
Mara, thank you so
absolutely.
much.
Thank you.
We really
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
it.
Thank
Let's
you
hear it
for
for these
having us.
guys. All right.
All right, so we wanted to do some Q&A.
Okay.
If anybody had any Q&A for either Chef Ann and her foundation and what they do, or Mr. Al Roker.
Why don't we just sit down over here? We can sit down.
Yeah. You want some more vodka?
No, that's okay.
Okay.
I'd